Hi everyone, I am Sharon Clark.
Hi, I'm Kendra Blankenbaker.
And we would like to share with you our presentation.
All right, thank you, Sharon. I'm going to go ahead and get us started on our project this evening. I'm going to go over some of the literature regarding our study, and then Sharon's going to go ahead and discuss, further discuss the methods to our replication study, including our graphs, our results, and our overall experience. Again, welcome to our presentation. Next slide, please. We chose preliminary efficacy of price-based contingency management to increase activity levels in healthy adults, which can be found in the Journal of Applied Behavioral Analysis 2014 for the Group Behavior Change Replication Project. Sharon and I agreed that we'd be able to replicate this study considering our busy lifestyles, and then we both also had Fitbits, so it was something that we didn't have to go out and purchase. In this study, the researchers looked at the effects of combining contingency management and accelerometers to increase physical activity levels for adults in structuring behavior change programs. Both of these methods have been proven effective in individual studies. However, they have not been combined together in a treatment method. Next slide, please. Prior to beginning this project, I did not realize the significant concerns and numbers of obesity in the United States. The number of deaths related to obesity and the percentage of individuals in the United States with obesity was particularly alarming to me. According to the Centers for Disease Control, or the CDC, obesity is the leading cause of death in the United States. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention estimated that an average of 112,000 deaths per year are associated with obesity. In 2015, the CDC also reported the occurrence of obesity in the United States was 36.5% for adults and 17% for youth in between the years 2011 to 2014. So these growing numbers have created an increase in public awareness and the need for interventions to help prevent and help treat obesity in the United States. And the study that we chose for our replication project is just one example of studies and interventions that are out there to help with this and will help with this problem in the United States. And this slide also includes some maps that shows the trends of obesity in the United States for adults in the years 1990, 1999, and 2009. Next slide, please. And this study had two goals. The first goal was to increase physical activity for adults by increasing the number of steps that they took each day by providing cost-effective reinforcement using contingency management. And goal number two was to characterize the structure of the behavior change program using accelerometers to monitor and analyze data. Next slide, please. The study used contingency management to increase a desired behavior, which was the physical activity, specifically the amount of steps adults took in the day. And this is a form of behavior therapy based on the principle that behavior is a function of its own consequences. So what people do or how they behave is related in a predictable way. For example, if an action is followed by a positive consequence for that person, then more likely that's a behavior is going to occur again. Contingencies, therefore, are the consequences. The method was used in this study to change the behavior of the physical activity by observing the frequency and the duration of the behavior and motivating subjects by providing them reinforcement when step criteria was met. Next slide. Physical activity levels are established on daily patterns of movement and the intensity of activity an individual engages in. So the amount of time an individual engages in different types of activities throughout the day. So this can be sleeping, exercising, sitting, driving, walking, many of the activities that we participate in throughout the day, determines an individual activity level. The CDC suggests that adults should get at least 150 minutes of moderate to intense physical activity weekly, or 75 minutes of vigorous, intense physical activity weekly. It also suggests that youth should engage in physical activity for at least 60 minutes each day. Next slide. So in this study, there were 15 healthy adults, students, men and women, ages 18 through 26 from the University of Northern Carolina, Wilmington, who participated in this study. Next slide, please. Materials included the Fitbit. There was an activity guide, which can be found online. It actually has a lot of great information. There was prize reinforcement. Prizes depended, and they did vary. Some were just $1 Amazon gift cards. There were also iPods, water bottles, GPS monitors, and subjects earned raffle tickets as reinforcement based on their success and phase criteria. And then they drew tickets to receive their prizes. Next slide, please. The study followed an ABA reversal design with each phase lasting 1 week. And then it went into following a pretty rigorous method of involving intake, daily reporting, prize draws, determination of step criteria, daily data analysis, inner response times, activity durations, and they also included the weather data. In this study, the subjects wore the Fitbit for 24 hours a day during a 3-week period. So this definitely helped in completion of the study. Next slide, please. This is next slide, or sorry, the previous slide showed some data from the original study. The results indicate that 13 out of the 15 subjects completed the study. 11 were included in the data. Some did not complete the study due to injury. Some didn't have honest data, and then some lost a Fitbit. So in the end, there were 11 that were included in the data. In the end, 4 subjects did increase their daily step counts during the intervention, and this was determined based as a result of the contingency management intervention. I would like to go ahead and reintroduce Sharon now, and she'll be sharing the rest of our presentation.
Hello. I am glad to be here. Okay, the replication. So the methods that we used were 2 women ages 38 and 29 participated in the study, State University. All participants met all screening criteria and agreed to serve as participants in the study. We had the Fitbit. The Fitbit was worn at all times except for showering. The setting was the participant's place of residence and anywhere the Fitbit was worn. For the methods section, the materials that were used were an accelerometer, which was the Fitbit, the activity guide, the Active Your Way, which can be found online at health.gov. The prize reinforcements that we chose to use were gift cards from $1 to $5. We also used Microsoft Excel, a phone, and a computer. So the procedures that we took in order to achieve our replication study, the first thing that we did was we had to zero in on an article. So we picked an article and then we set criterion. Our study used an ABA reversal design in which all 3 phases lasted 1 week each. All 3 phases, including baseline 1, intervention, and baseline 2. We also had daily reporting. The subjects text a photo at the end of each day before midnight and send it to the other group member. Next, for the procedures, we had prize draws. The prize draws, the subjects received a chance to draw from a prize pool each day when they met phase relevant criteria. The prize collection was stocked with gift cards ranging from $1 to $4 during the baseline stages. And the stepped criteria during the intervention was based off of our busy schedules and motivation for reinforcement. And the daily step criterion for receiving reinforcement was a $5 Starbucks gift card for every 5,000 steps taken in the week. This was done to make sure that we were reinforced frequently. Since we were averaging $1 to $4 just for wearing the Fitbit, we wanted to make sure that our reinforcement was enough. So that's why we did $5 for each 5,000 steps, even though our goal was 10,000 steps. The next step in our procedure was to graph the data and then to present the results. Our behavioral definition was physical activity is defined as taking 10,000 steps as tracked by the Fitbit application. Our IOA data consistency was maintained by both subjects by using the same traffic device pedometer, the Fitbit. The total count IOA was calculated during baseline using the following method: smaller count divided by larger count times 100. Both observers reported the same values for the event, resulting in 100% IOA data. Total count equals 100%. Here we would like to show you a picture of our IOA data with Sharon's arm wearing the Fitbit on the left-hand side and Kendra wearing the Fitbit on the right-hand side. Treatment fidelity. Each participant used the Fitbit accelerometer. For accuracy, monitoring occurred by each member taking a picture of their step count and texting it to the other team member at the end of the day before midnight. We also made notes of sickness, weather changes, and or vacations that were taken. The results were both subjects completed the study. Both subjects increased their daily step counts during the intervention as a result of contingency management intervention. Both members were found to have 100% IOA data. Here is our table for our subject demographics showing Kendra, a female 38 years old, and her weight and her body mass index. And then Sharon Clark, also a female, 29, and weight and body mass index. I'm going to go ahead and share my results, and then Kendra, actually I'll share Kendra's results as well. So the average number of steps in baseline 1 was 5,520, and the range from the condition baseline 1 was from 2,333 steps to 10,604 steps. The average steps during the intervention was 10,903 steps, and the range condition during the intervention was 6,693 steps to 14,846 steps. Average during baseline was 10,394 steps. Range condition during baseline, number 2, was 4,068 to 20,459 steps. As the results were in, I did notice that for my steps during the intervention and during the baseline, they were very similar. And that was due to me going on vacation the day that there's 20,000 steps. I went on vacation and that drastically changed the second baseline. So that is another result that I found when doing this intervention, that where you went did have an effect on the steps that were taken during the day. All right. For Kendra, the average number of steps in baseline 1 condition were 3,561 steps per day. Baseline condition 1 ranged from 2,300 to 4,692 steps per day. The average number of steps in the treatment condition were 11,199 steps per day. Treatment condition range was from 5,324 steps to 16,789 steps. The average number of steps in the return to baseline phase 2 were 6,647 steps per day. Baseline condition 2 ranged from 2,996 steps to 12,163 steps per day. Also, in Kendra's intervention, she went on vacation as well. So you see a very high spike in her steps, which we also found that where you went did make an impact as a confounding variable to our study, which we'll explain more in the limitations. So the limitations to our study were our schedules were not consistent. We did not engage in the same activities daily. Therefore, our steps changed daily. Also, the day of the week had an impact on the study, depending on whether we were off from work on a different day, possibly like a Monday. The steps count was possibly lower than possibly if we went to work or went to the gym that day, our steps count were higher. Also, if it was a weekend or a weekday, those were also limitations to our study. Another limitation was that both participants went on vacation during the study. As I explained earlier, my step count during baseline 2 was extremely high because I went on vacation and actually achieved the most steps throughout the entire intervention, as well as Kendra went on vacation. And during her vacation, her step count was also extremely high. We also found a limitation to our study was not being able to analyze anything other than physical activity. Since we were on vacation, we did other physical activities such as swimming, and there was no way to track other physical activity other than steps. The last limitation that our group found was that our study consisted of only female participants, and we thought that if maybe we had a male in our group or other members in our group or even children, we were wondering what the impact of the intervention would be, which leads me to our next slide of future research. Future research, our group would like to see the study replicated with different demographics. As you can see, there was one Caucasian female and one African-American female. We both live in California, and so we were wondering if the intervention was replicated possibly in different areas of the US, if there would be different results. Also, we would like to see the study replicated controlling the confounds that we found in our study, which were the day of the week, the changes of physical activity and also vacation. If they could plan to make sure that the participants were not going on vacation and that they engaged in their regular activity throughout the week, we would like to see if the intervention would have the same results. To conclude, our study illustrates the introductory effectiveness of a contingency management approach to increase physical activity in adults. We used a prize draw approach, and we found that the prize draw approach can be implemented to increase physical activity. We also hope that this strategy will continue to inspire others to become physically active and eventually be reinforced by natural contingency. These are our references, and Kendra and I would like to thank you for viewing our presentation. Kendra, you want to log back on? All right. Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.